Hello everyone, welcome to my channel SW Metro official channel.
Christine destroys Kody and Robyn in explosive trial finale. In her new book, Sister Wives star Christine Brown surprises Robyn and Kody. Early September 2025 saw the release of Christine Brown's sister wife memoir. The polygamous Brown family was first presented to the public on the TLC show Sister Wives. Along with their extended family, this also includes Kody Brown, his current wife Robyn, and his former wives Mary, Janelle, and Christine. Kody and Christine were wed from 1994 to 2021. Together, the two have 6 children and 3 grandchildren. She later wed David Woolley in 2023. Christine's latest memoir, Sister Wife, a memoir of faith, family, and finding freedom, just made headlines. In her book, which was published on September 2, Christine gave her perspective on a number of incidents that occurred on the TLC program. Christine recently talked about why she thinks Kody pressured her family to relocate from Las Vegas to Flagstaff in 2017. At the time, it was anticipated that Christine, Mary, Janelle, and Robyn would migrate with their kids. One day, out of the blue, Kody sat us all down and explained that we needed to leave Vegas, saying it would be safer and better for us financially, Christine recalled in the book. Although he gave us a plan, he indicated we could choose where we went. It found out that even the location selection had been predetermined. Christine objected to the relocation at the time, believing she was removing her children from their schools or friends. But for the sake of the family, she concluded it would be best to accept the transfer. I couldn't split up the family, she revealed. I thought this was my children's best opportunity to get along with their father. The sister wife's family was affected by another problem after the Flagstaff move. Christine thought Kody could have had a secret agenda when they traveled to Las Vegas. We found out that Robyn and Kody's son, Dayton, had been accepted to the university in Flagstaff about a month after we moved in 2018, she revealed. Since the transfer meant leaving her older children, Aspen and Michael T., Christine was particularly distraught about the prospect. She revealed, I was angry. Did we migrate for that reason? In order for Robyn to be nearer to her son and me to be apart from my kids? People pointed out that this wasn't the only problem that affected the family after the transfer. In addition, they needed to pay off Coyote Pass, the land where the family complex would be constructed. The original plan was for each wife to construct a separate house on the estate. But this plan was derailed by personal and financial problems, and the property was sold earlier this year. Christine Woolley claims that after speaking up on the show, Kody Brown punished her. Christine Woolley recently disclosed that if she dared to voice her marital problems on Sister Wives, Kody Brown would literally punish her. Yes, you read correctly. The celebrity talked candidly about how Kody used to treat her when she spoke negatively about her husband. She is finally revealing the truth about everything that has ever occurred to her after having to deal with some extremely significant repercussions. In her memoir, Christine is brutally revealing Kody's darker side, and viewers are still in shock. What is the point of this? To find out more about this controversy, continue reading. Christine believes that Robyn and Kody are soulmates. In a recent interview with the Sarah Fraser Show, Christine Brown expressed her belief that Kody and Robyn are true soulmates. Christine acknowledged she wasn't sure when the host questioned if she thought Kody would ever get married again. She clarified that she has no intention of meddling in Kody and Robyn's personal affairs and that whatever transpires between them is their own. Christine continued by saying that she sincerely hopes Kody doesn't get married again. She sees the depth and significance of what he shares with Robyn already. She thought about how Kody has publicly stated his preference for monogamy, which made her question why he would jeopardize that relationship. Christine advised Kody to concentrate on fortifying his bond with Robyn rather than searching for a new partner. She advised that she would rather see Kody completely devoted to Robyn and would not want him to get married again. She believes that they should be happy together and value what they have. Sister Wives, Christine explains how she was punished by Kody for raising her voice. Kody Brown is finally being exposed by Christine. He has always been a very domineering and patriarchal person, but at last someone is speaking out. In her most recent book, Christine disclosed that Kody would discipline her if she criticized him on the program. To be honest, it's really poisonous, and we have no idea what the wives must have endured over the years. Christine further disclosed that he spent less time with her and her children if she voiced marital grievances on the show. He disciplined them all by denying them his attention if she didn't follow his instructions. In Vegas, he specifically tormented them in this manner. He told her that they could either fight or remain silent, and he would stay if she voiced her worries. He went on to say that under polygamy, husbands do not go to the doghouse. Instead, husbands move on to the next wife. Christine further disclosed that after realizing the price she would have to pay, she finally stopped speaking out. Since Kody disregarded their children as well, it had an impact on both her and her children. This, she explained, was how Kody always evaded responsibility. Christine is exposing Kody and his wife, Robyn, in her book because she no longer wants to protect them. She has found her voice to confront the domineering patriarch now that her children are adults. For all of her fans, Christine's book is now available in hard copy and audiobook. Kody and Robyn, seated at the defendant's table, had spent weeks projecting an aura of wounded righteousness, a performance of unity that grew more brittle with each passing day of testimony. They awaited what they presumed would be a final, dry recitation of legal points. What they received, instead, was an execution. Christine, who had sat through the ordeal with a quiet, unshakable dignity, did not say a word. She didn't need to. Her lawyer, a woman whose sharp intellect was matched only by her palpable disdain for her opponents, stood, smoothed her suit, and with a chilling calmness, proceeded to systematically and explosively destroy the last vestiges of Kody and Robyn's carefully constructed narrative, not with theatrical rage, but with the devastating precision of a master surgeon. She began not with the financial malfeasance or the contractual breaches that formed the spine of the case, but with the emotional core. This case, she stated, her voice clear and carrying to the farthest corners of the room, is not simply about assets misappropriated or agreements broken. It is about a currency far more valuable than money, loyalty. And the defendants, Kody and Robyn Brown, are bankrupt. She then embarked on a methodical, ruthless journey through the evidence, but framed not as legal violations, but as betrayals. She spoke of the family pot, the communal fund every wife contributed to for the collective good, and then she displayed the exhibits, the receipts for Robyn's extravagant jewelry, the payments for the $1 million McMansion on the hill, the debt accrued from her previous life that the family absorbed. While Janelle Brown was budgeting for groceries in a tiny apartment, the attorney noted, her tone laced with a deadly serenity, and Christine Brown was selling her own wedding china to make ends meet. The defendants were investing in precious metals and Victorian-era decor. They weren't just spending the family's money. They were spending their sister wives' sacrifice. Then, she turned to Kody. And what did Mr. Brown purchase with this squandered loyalty? Not happiness, it seems. But control. She revisited his own testimony, his petulant outbursts about respect and patriarchy, playing back clips where he bemoaned his wife's independence. He demanded the authority of a king, she argued, while abandoning the duties of a husband and father. He speaks of a patriarch's respect while the evidence shows a man who withheld love, time, and affection from all but one household, a man who used emotional neglect as a weapon to punish those who dared to have a thought he did not sanction. She painted a picture not of a flawed spiritual leader, but of a narcissistic dictator, whose entire concept of family was a one-way street leading directly to his own ego. He didn't want a family. He wanted an audience. And when some members of that audience stopped applauding, he evicted them from the theater and sold their seats. But the true explosion, the moment the gasps in the room were audible and Robyn's face truly began to crumple, was when the attorney pivoted to the concept of the basement wife. She took Robyn's own weaponized language, her perpetual performance of victimhood, and turned it into a shiv. The defense has repeatedly invoked a hierarchy of suffering, a narrative carefully crafted by Mrs. Robyn Brown to position herself as the perpetual martyr, the misunderstood new wife, the basement wife even as she resided in the largest home, she said, pausing to let the irony hang in the air. But let us be clear about who truly lived in the basement. It was the wife Kody forgot to visit. It was the children whose calls went unanswered. The basement was not a physical space but an emotional dungeon where Kody locked away the families he had grown bored of. And who was the warden of this dungeon? The wife who never once, not in any testimony or any recording, advocated for her sister wives to receive their fair share of time, love, or resources. The wife who, when presented with the opportunity to say, "Kody, go to your son's surgery," or "Kody, your daughter is crying for you," instead said, "Kody, stay. My children need you." She didn't just occupy his time, she weaponized his absence. She wasn't the basement wife, she was the architect of the basement. The finale of the argument was a thing of brutal, beautiful rhetoric. The attorney walked away from the podium and stood directly before the jury, making them the sole confidants in this saga of ruin. "Look at the plaintiff," she instructed, gesturing to Christine, who met the juror's gaze with a strength that seemed to hum in the silence. "She is not asking for your pity. She is asking for justice. She escaped the basement. She tore up the blueprints for that dungeon and walked into the sunlight of her own worth. The defendants took her money, they took her husband, and they tried to take her dignity. They failed. All that remains now is for you to hold them accountable for what they did take. They took the financial security she worked decades to build. They took the promise of a united family and rendered it a fraudulent lie. They took years of her life spent believing she was less than, because it served their greed and fed their vanity." Returning to her table, she picked up a single document, the original family mission statement, a naive document full of hopeful scribbles about love and plural heaven. She held it up for a moment, a relic of a dead faith, before letting it drop dismissively back onto the wood. Kody and Robyn Brown did not just break a contract. They broke a covenant. They didn't just betray Christine Brown, they betrayed the very principles they claimed to hold sacred. They built a monarchy on a foundation of sand and are now shocked that the tide of truth has washed it away. Your job is not to rebuild it. Your job is to ensure that Christine Brown, and every other person who dared to escape their gilded cage, is made whole again. Find for the plaintiff. Give her back what they stole. And in doing so, you will send a message that in a court of law, truth matters, loyalty matters, and no amount of tears or bluster can wash away the stain of exploitation. She sat down. The silence was absolute, profound, and total. There was nothing left to say. The explosion had occurred, not in a flash of light and sound, but in the quiet, irrevocable shattering of two people who believed they were untouchable. The verdict, when it came, was merely a formality. Christine had already won. Her victory was etched in the pallor of Kody's stunned fury and the silent, desperate tears streaking through Robyn's makeup, the final, beautiful proof of their destruction.